And welcome to the first episode of Hannah's Hot Seat, where I chat to recruiters across the Index Group, and I'm super excited about our first one. Welcome to Mary Kennedy, who heads up White House Search Partners, and we're going to be chatting about my favourite topic of all time, which is L&D. Welcome, Mary, but I know White House Search Partners do a lot more than just L&D. What other roles do you specialise in?
Yeah, so here at White House Search Partners, we cover all senior leadership and back office roles, working exclusively within the recruitment market. So it'll be everything non-billing, of course, L&D, over to finance, HR, marketing, internal recruitment, legal as well. Working very heavily across the UK, of course, and now expanding even further across the US.
And of course, my eyes light up when you and I get to have a call about any L&D roles that you're working on, or talking about any candidates that you're speaking to. And actually, you've helped a couple of my friends of mine find their L&D people. So you're doing an amazing job. Why do you love L&D? Why do you like working on these roles so much?
Yeah, I think it's no secret. I've, of course, got a huge passion in learning and development. And I think it's because I really see the importance in learning and development within, obviously, every single recruitment firm. I think work and learning and development roles for me is so exciting to hear about what individuals have done for their firms or their previous firms and what true impact that they have made. I work with candidates who have grown businesses from a headcount of 30 up to a headcount of 250, and they've had a huge part of building a learning and development function from scratch. This will be training, of course, academies, but really focusing on senior leaders working within the business as well, how they can support their teams further, grow their teams further, which of course results in growing a business and a more successful growth within the company as well. So for me, learning and development is all about that journey you can go on and what impact you can make into a business. So I love hearing success stories.
Yeah, and there are loads of them. There really are. And I know you're going to share some in a moment. You keep talking about, words like impact, words like growth. Yet here we are again in 2023. And a lot of these back office roles, L&D is the first one, isn't it? That will get put on hold. And, I've seen this in my career over and over again. And it's crazy that at a time like this, where I feel there is the greatest need, that those roles are the first to go on hold. I don't know, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, 100%. So I'm still hearing it myself when I'm speaking to clients. They're still viewing learning and development as a non-billing role. It's not essential. There's no budget, and everyone's still growing sales quite heavily and still trying to grow through these difficult times, but aren't investing into proper learning. And this could be for academy, obviously, graduates coming in not knowing anything about learning and development, and then their managers are then teaching them, but it's taking them away from billing. But also seniors and leaders as well, future leaders coming in and not effectively knowing how to lead a team, how to effectively manage. And I'm still getting told a lot, obviously, it's not a billing opportunity. I think now more than ever, companies really need to look into investing into learning and development. It is a tough market out there. And now, this time last year, obviously, there were a lot more roles available, a lot more live jobs on the market. And business development, it was, of course, that little bit easier. So what you're finding as well within companies is people were coming into recruitment last year, they were thriving, they were doing extremely well, billing crazy numbers within their first year. And then this year's hit, people are struggling to pick up jobs. People are really struggling to have that same momentum, have that same success that they have last year. And companies are seeing a reduction in retention as well, which I think obviously enter learning and development, we can support people. If you've got someone who's been within learning and development for years, who've been within tough markets before, they can give that advice. They can talk about their war stories that they could have had before and how to really advise and help them get through this as well. So it's not just about increasing performance within businesses, it's about increasing retention. It's about people that maybe struggling this year, who were thriving last year, getting them back on track, giving them that guidance that they need. But also as well, you could have new managers that done really well last year. They've got to that stage, they're growing out their team, but they're also training their team consistently. There's no one there doing that initial training as well. So it's taking them away from billing essentially.
Yeah, you're right. And you just reminded me that actually people could well have been promoted into positions based on results in a fantastic, crazy, probably never to be seen again market, without being fully rounded 360 consultants potentially. And they've been fast tracked, and now they're struggling, and it's hard to run a team or even manage one person, you know, and have to upskill yourself on BD as well. You really do need help. And I think from a business owner perspective, you can, you know, it's your voice all of the time. And actually, you know, nothing better than somebody external coming in that's got their own war stories that, you know, can share those to instill confidence. So yeah, I bet your message is invest in these times.
100%, and it is. And you still, to be honest, you still have some of my amazing clients who really see the value within learning and development, and people who have placed even back end of last year who I can see their companies are growing, they're doing extremely well, people are getting upskilled if they are new managers and they're growing out their team. I always love to keep in contact with people that obviously I've placed in and see how successful that the business is doing now, and little gaps in learning that they may have had, they're starting to get closed. So yeah, definitely now more than ever, invest into learning and development.
Oh yeah, and it's no surprise that, you know, when we look at the analysis that we do in the purple pages of the recruitment industry, that those organisations actually, you know, have shown growth in the last 6 months. So get in touch with Mary if you want to. The other thing I wanted to chat to you about, which is something I was so impressed with, and you did a post on it, but the way that you kind of take your candidates through the process when they are looking, from the way that you kind of coach them in how to present themselves, because, you know, we as L&D, we like to help people, but you know, it's a bit like a doctor. We're not really kind of like helping ourselves. But do you want to share like the kind of stuff that you've been doing? So I thought it was absolutely brilliant.
100%. So main thing I would say and advise and coach people that I'm working with, it's really knowing how you have made an impact within that company. People within learning and development, they take time, they take their evenings, the weekends, creating this incredible material, incredible modules that, as I say, can be at any level. But a lot of the times they may not know the results that that training has had. So they could be working with consultants who have literally increased their business development by 250%. They're bringing in a lot more jobs, but so they're actually seeing the impact that they are having on consultants and on businesses. And I know not every single business does measure return on investment within learning and development. I think it is crucial and essential to do so. But if your company isn't measuring it, I would definitely say go away, measure that yourself. But do you not want to know the impact that you're having? All of these modules and training that you're doing, you want to see how much that you are helping people. And every business is completely different within learning and development based on, of course, company needs. So if you're really focusing on new business training, or you're focusing on leadership training, or you're focusing on maybe ratios, if you're trying to, so many CVs are getting sent out and initially there wasn't many interviews booked in, so you're doing training around that, you can measure all of these particular metrics. So my best advice to people who may be looking for a new job or might not be looking for a new role but want to see the impact they're having is to definitely understand the baseline. So before you're doing that particular training, what stats and what metrics look like now. And then after you've delivered that training, you could do a measurement 1 month later, 2 months later, 3 months later, to really understand the impact that you have had. And then that helps with follow-up training as well. If people are doing really well month 1, month 2, and then starting to dip a little bit, you need a little bit of refresher training. So it can kind of guide you as well on your platform and your program.
Yeah, I mean, it's important for us as individuals and L&D, but also for those that, you know, we report to as well. You know, recruiters, salespeople having to report back on their metrics weekly, monthly, quarterly, and, you know, and so should we. And that's an opportunity, I think, to really showcase, the impact that you're having at all points. So yeah, maybe something for leaders also to think of who are leading those functions about, you know, how they actually, you know, manage and measure the performance of their L&D teams. It's a really, really interesting point. And I bet it's probably not just L&D that this comes into, is it? I bet you hear this in other back office functions too.
So much. I think at the minute, obviously, with us going through a slightly more difficult market, I think back office does sometimes get put back on the back burner slightly. Again, I did another LinkedIn post about how effective is your back office team. This is not just including L&D, it could be including finance, it could be including internal recruitment. Are you paying other people to bring in people that are right? You need to invest within internal recruitment. All as well, huge at the moment. You want the best people for you working within your finance team to ensure you have as much cash as possible to continue to grow the business as well. So it's across all particular areas. And again, any advice that people need to ensure that they do have the best people within their teams, or if they want to hear about obviously different candidates who can bring a lot more value, then 100% here to support.
And that's what I've really noticed about, you know, the candidates that you talk to me about. You really are leading with their value and what their potential could be for your clients. So for me, is going over and above, really. So that's great. Was there anything else that you wanted to add?
Only thing that I would want to add, I think it's, as I said, I did a post about L&D metrics, and it's actually exciting. I've had quite a few people from learning and development reach out to myself who aren't actively looking at the moment, but they do need a little bit of guidance. They want to see how they are measuring success, and they want to see what impact they're having. So if there's anyone out there that needs a little bit of support, a little bit of guidance on how they can see what impact they're having, of course, reach out to myself or reach out to Hannah. We would both love to help.
We certainly would. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming into Hannah's hot seat.
Yeah, love being here.
First episode of, thanks to all of you for listening to us. I hope you found some value, and make sure you tune into the next episode. We'll see who's next in the hot seat. See you later.
Thanks, bye.